The NFL season is here, and the Lockdown Defense Sports Network welcomes you to another NFL season. We are here to give you a front row seat to the pulse of the NFL. Join us every Tuesday night as we break down the latest news, dissect the hottest headlines, and fire off fearless predictions that might shape the future of the league. From the locker room drama to game-changing plays, we're just not watching football, we're living it. As the entire hit squad with young RG Robert Garcia, Coach Mike Dubb, the real AG Alex Givens, and yours truly, Coach Defense, joins forces with the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, Violator, and the Saudi pirate himself, Captain Jack Rackham. So buckle up, because this isn't your average recap. This is the Lockdown Blitz, where the takes are bold, the insights are gritty, and the passion runs deep. Let's go. All my heavy hitters and lockdown defenders, welcome to the Lockdown Blitz. I'm your host, alongside with me today, my guy, the members of the Hit Squad, young RG Robert Garcia, Coach Mike Dubb, the real AG Alex Givens, and the NFL Nation Live crew, Captain Jack Rackham, and the Violator man himself. Gentlemen, what's happening? Week 17 is here, man. We are 2 games away from the NFL playoffs, and it is ready to go. It is rocking and rolling. Things have been decided. Some things are still left to be decided. But let's go around the room, quick vibe check. Let's do a quick vibe check. Young RG Robert Garcia, what's good, brother? How you feeling? Looking good in the
Navy. You already know I'm feeling great, man. Massive win for the Chargers. Undefeated since the bye, and to top it all off, I'm going to be at the last home game of the season against the Texans, so vibes are high here, definitely high.
Love it. I love it. Yes indeed. All right, Coach Mike Dubb, good brother, how you feeling? What's going on over there?
Doing good. Happy holidays, everybody. Hope everybody's having a safe and fruitful holiday season. Things are going, they're going how they're going over here. Just 2 more weeks left in the season until we can hit the reset button, which is much needed for Commander fans and a few other fans out there. So we're hanging in there.
For sure. Indeed. Violator, good sir. What's going on out there in Raiderland? How you feeling out there?
Hey, man, I'm holiday festive and ready to talk some playoff football. Because, like I say, this season has come and went just like a blur. So
it really has.
And we still don't really know nothing.
That's a fact. That is a fact. Yeah, this season act like it need to be somewhere because it's definitely out of here, man. We only got 2 more games left before we get to the playoffs and the real football starts for sure. Real AG, Alex Givens, good sir. How you feeling out there? What's going on in Chiefs land? I should say Kansas land.
Yeah. Exactly. When it rains, it pours, man. That's all I got to say, Team eliminated for the playoffs, then announcing, hey, no more Arrowhead. In 2031, but
right.
Yeah, crazy deal. State funded, $1.8 billion dome stadium. Going to be sweet. But yeah, it's just kind of kicking you while you're down, Like, hey, no playoffs this year and no more Arrowhead soon.
All right.
Echo what Dubb said about hoping everyone has a great holiday season with family and watch some good football and just vibe out.
I like it. All right. Last but definitely not least, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Captain Jack Rackham. Oh, is it Houston?
I don't know who you talking about. I tell you, I'm Tennessee Jack.
Tennessee Jack. Okay.
Jack. I just wanted to tell him, man, you guys must have had a bit more of that moonshine that you came in, and I don't know what. I think your quarterback's going to need some more of that, because not only was the one guy already hurt, then you got the other guy already hurt. Then you got some guy by the name of Oladokin. He actually played for a local team here at USF. He's not a bad quarterback. So I mean, hey, y'all can win your last 2 games.
Not sure if they want to.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see about
At this
that.
point, you're hoping for higher draft picks.
Yeah.
Right. High draft pick means
Highest pick possible. But I will say that game very much proved just how good Patrick Mahomes is. Because without him, they could not score any points on quite literally the worst team in the league. So
Not. That's not true. That's not true, because the quite literally worst team in the league is definitely going to be decided this Sunday out in Vegas in what is people are calling the Tank Bowl.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't
right.
I don't portend to that, because I want to see a damn good game, and I saw a damn good game in Houston, and I was quite upset because I had Houston kicking the Raiders' butt with the given the 14 or whatnot, and the Raiders almost won, and I'm like, dude, either win the game or lose by 15.
There you
Not
go.
one of this where you lose by 2. You either win, just like Herm said, you play to win the game. Well, if you're going to win the game, then win the game, or you lose by 15, because I lost money on that. So I'm just saying.
I understand. Yeah, it's multiple things invested there. One of the things invested there.
For
But
what
yeah,
it's worth,
People trying to
Cap.
hold on to jobs, man. People
Yeah.
trying to hold on to jobs.
For what it's worth, Cap, I thought that PI on 3rd and 20 was absolute BS.
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Oh,
Terrible.
thank you. You know what? You were going to take some of the stuff, because I guess we're not going to have the ref here tonight.
No, we're
I
after
was
that.
just going to say, can we talk about, because remember you said last week, you said it doesn't matter if it's like out of bounds
Uncatchable,
or
yeah.
where it was. I mean, the guy had to have a platter and one of those fish nets that you get fish out of in order to get that ball. And then checking the bull chipping. Anyway.
Sound like Cap on the
What?
water, or is it just me?
Yeah, no,
Lot of-
I'm hearing it too.
Am I not?
Now you're good.
There you
Good
go.
now.
For
For a second, you
were
were-
on the water for a second. Yeah.
You're transmitting via sonar.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
well-
something like that.
I
Okay.
tell you what, I will try to get rid of as many extra things as I can, but there's only 3 windows up, so I don't know why.
Okay, we're good. We're good now. So we'll keep an eye on it. But
But it was crap. Thank you, Robert, for saying it was crap.
Gotcha, sir.
We're analysts here too now. We're not just fans. We're analysts too. When it's bad, it's bad. Before we get the show started, I just want to address something that happened last week on the show that some people have may have caught, some people may have not. We did remove it from our rebroadcast, so if you hadn't seen it live, it may not have affected you, but I did want to address it for those that might have seen it. In talking about some things last week, there was a comment and a gesture made by Captain Jack Rackham, and although he is of Jewish descent, it may have offended some people in regards to what that means to them. He used a choice word. I'm not going to repeat it. He did use a choice gesture, and some people, regardless of their affiliation, may have taken offense to it. So I just wanted to let the fans out here know that we definitely do not condone those type of things, whether jokingly or in jest or seriously. So I just wanted to address those particular things. And if you did see it live last week, we do apologize if we did offend anybody out there. It was not meant to be that way. But I'll let Captain Jack Rack speak on this particular aspect of it real quick before we get into our headlines.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you saying that, Coach. And for those that do not know, and I think Coach said that, I am of Judeo-Christian descent, okay? So and I actually found out from talking to Coach, there's actually 2 N-words. I only thought there was 1. But there are 2 N-words that we won't ever talk about on this show. But I will say, being of Judeo-Christian descent, I will say that I also, in my humor, I evoke one of my favorites, which is Don Rickles. Don Rickles was one that maybe kind of pushed the envelope on different things. And I would say that any gestures made or evoking of the people that we were talking about was purely just to call out how extremely, I don't even know what the right word is, but the people we were talking about, it was stupid. And that's the best way I can say it. There was nothing of bad intent meant. And please, if you have anything, my last name is Levy, Levy, okay? I am not one to say positive things about such people, shall we say.
Indeed. And the person he was discussing was a volatile entity, so he was referring to it as just. But again, we don't want to offend anybody on this network, and we definitely love and appreciate everybody from every walk of life, and we don't want to evoke any emotions that are definitely negative, and that was not our intention. So we just want to get that out of the way real quick before we get the show going. So again, our apologies if it definitely rubbed anybody the wrong way. But yeah, so as we get into the show here, let's go with our first topic of the day. Let's go ahead and do our segment called Hit Squad Headlines. Let's get into some headlines. So yeah, the NFL is booming, and there was definitely some statement. I guess you can call it victories or games had over the weekend. So to start the show off here today, let's talk about the Jaguars and the Bears. The Jaguars and the Bears made statement wins against the Packers and the Broncos, respectively. Teams that were flying high in their respective divisions, and they kind of put people on notice. So let's talk about this particular aspect of those games, and let's get into what the panel feels like will be with the Jags. How do you feel about the Jags and the Bears this particular day with 2 games left? So, from my perspective, did the Jags and the Bears make a statement? Let's start with the real AG. Do you think the Jags and Bears made a statement to put themselves into the contenders conversation with those particular games they won over the weekend?
I think for both of them they did. Definitely more so the Jags and the Bears, just because Packers were a little banged up. But I don't see how you can watch that game against Denver and think that that's not a contending team if they continue to play that way, because. For all the knock that Trevor Lawrence has gotten or them have gotten as a team offensively, they look pretty damn solid against, the marquee unit this year on the defensive side of the ball. Trevor Lawrence was highly effective, 3 touchdown day, not turning the ball over. Jags defense is still getting turnovers. I don't know how you can think that they're not a contender at this point and didn't make a statement the way they did against the Broncos. For the Bears, I think Mike Dove said it last week, they've answered the skepticism and they very much are a real team. And, they're built right now for this time of year, the way they run the ball and set things up for Caleb and not just, make him go be the guy. And it really wasn't even that effective against Green Bay, but because of how banged up I think Green Bay was, it worked. But we saw even more out of Caleb Williams. So I don't see how you can't feel confident about the Bears as well. They have a shakier defense than the Jaguars do. But, yeah, I think both made statements for sure.
I like it. Now, I shudder to go with this guy next because he's been on fire the last few pods. And I don't necessarily want some people to be able to follow behind him, but I'm very curious to hear what Dove got to say. Dove, what do you feel about the Jaguars and the Bears this week? And, try to save a little bit for the rest of us.
AG said it all. I think the Jags definitely they set more of a statement in how they won and who they won. I think their style of play they've shown that they can play with anybody in the AFC. Which was a question. And of course, everybody had questions about, Trevor Lawrence. And I think it was more of a statement for him and more of a statement for the rest of the team, of course. But definitely the Jaguars. As for the Bears, it's a good win. It's a great win. A little concerning in the style of, the way that they're winning games, because once you get into the playoffs, eventually it starts to come back to haunt you. You need some late game heroics, and they've had quite a few cardiac finishes. I think that could kind of catch up to them. So, I think it's definitely more of a statement for the Jaguars. A good win nonetheless for the Bears, something that they can carry on and continue this momentum. But shout out to the both teams really, but definitely a statement win for the Jaguars.
Indeed. All right. Violator, good sir, what's happening out there? How you feel about the Jags and the Bears after their performances over the weekend?
Listen, I was pleasantly shocked, I guess, at the performance of the Jags overall as a team. You know, offense, defense, and special teams. They went into Mile High and really popped Denver in the mouth, and I don't think Denver really ever recovered from it. And they really, I think, like Coach Mike just said, Coach Rob just said, Trevor Lawrence was making the statement, and their new head coach, was making a statement. You know, people had doubted them for being a finesse team, not so much a physical team. So I saw some of the greatest hitting for the whole weekend in that game. So they definitely made a statement, and now they're going to be a force to be reckoned with going forward, I think, because they've gotten their legs under them, so to speak. On the Bears side, it was just time to step up. And I think Coach Johnson has really put his scheme into play with the pieces that he has. And you know they're going to improve going into next season. But Caleb doesn't have to carry this team now. And with that ground game that they've gotten, like I say, this is the time of year when if you don't have a running game, you're done anyway. So these guys are going to be a force in that NFC North division. All
right. Good stuff. Young RG, Robert Garcia, what do you feel about the Jags and the Bears at this moment in time? What do you think their potentials are?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Jags definitely have more potential than the Bears do. And, you know, not to slight what the Bears have been doing, it's extremely impressive. I mean, these two coaches, Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen, they are probably right up there, both, you know, 1 and 2 favorites for a coach of the year. Just what they've brought out of these teams in their first season. Both of these squads are very much still alive for the 1 seed. And I don't think anybody, you know, was expecting these two teams to be even anywhere near competing for the 1 seed this season. So that, you know, hats off to them. And obviously people know how I feel about Trevor Lawrence. I've had my fair share of criticisms of that man. And, you know, a lot of the times they've been warranted, but got to give the same love as the same hate that I gave. And he has been absolutely balling out, man. I mean, he went from, you know, like I said, I would say he put the T in INT, and he hasn't thrown a pick in the last 4 weeks or something like that.
I'm crazy like that.
4 weeks. Took it right out of his name, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely did. We should just start calling him Trevor Lawrence.
TD, dude.
Yeah, no, that's probably what he's. Yeah, I mean, what has he got? 10 touchdowns in the last 3 games, no picks. I mean, he's just been absolutely balling out. And the team is alive for it. So to put it all wrapped up nicely in a bow, a little Christmas metaphor for you there. I do think that the Jags win was extremely more impressive just because of the degree of difficulty they were facing going into Denver. Denver on that, 11-game win streak, 12-game win streak. And to really just, you know, to echo what Violator said, to just beat the brakes off them, man. I mean, put up 30 plus on that defense is extremely impressive. At the same time, holding that offense to only 20. Yeah, man, Jags look really good right now.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. All right, Cap Jack Rackham, bring us home. How you feel about the Jags and the Bears this week?
Well, I'm going to dissent. I mean, and honestly, the Jaguars usually have 1 or 2 quote unquote statement games a year, but it seems hard for them to keep the product going. I mean, I do like what Liam Cohen has done with this team. And I think DZ was talking about his play calling coming from Tampa Bay, bringing that over to that team has done wonders for them. But I'm still not buying them being oh, well, wow, man, they're the team to beat in the AFC. They played a hell of a lot better these last couple of weeks, since I think RG was saying with Sunshine Lawrence in there. Always go back to remember the Titans. Sunshine. But I mean, I need to see it. If they made a statement to being definitively in the playoffs, but I mean, other than who was that team that they beat? What was it, last year or the year before in a playoff game that nobody was expecting? Oh, that's right. What was that team, RG? I can't remember.
Brandon Staley. That's all I'm
Can't
gonna
see
say.
my eyes, but I'm rolling them.
Okay. Anyway, that's what I'm saying about the Jags. They have like a statement game, and if they do make the playoffs, they surprise people. But what happened immediately after that? They hit a minefield. It's like every step that they took the next game, boom, things exploded on them. They played well, and yeah, beating the crap out of Denver was something that I definitely was not expecting to see. But I'm holding back on just giving them the AFC crown right now.
Okay. Any word on the Bears? Or you feel the same sentiment?
No, Bears, I think, have actually continued to improve. Johnson was the best thing that happened to the Bears. And, Caleb was looking for somebody to basically inspire him and to drive him and to keep him going and to get Caleb, he wanted to get better. And Johnson has been on his ass to do that. So you put those two things together. There's always been a decent D, with the Monsters of the Midway. I think that they will continue to do that. So they definitely continued to say why they are a favorite to go farther in the playoffs.
Okay. Respect. Yeah, I kind of share the sentiments on the Bears that they are, I want to say winning by the skin of their teeth, but they're definitely winning in certain cardiac fashions that don't necessarily translate to the playoffs. You had to have definitive and buttoned up wins in the playoffs in order to advance. So that kind of worries me in that space. And the Jags are hot right now. Again, but the playoffs are a different animal. When you have a large group of guys, and I think pretty much all the Jaguars on this team are playoff inexperienced. For the most part, I think Leon Cole might be the most seasoned person right now from a playoff perspective. So we have a lot of inexperience on that side of the ball. It could come to rear its ugly head. It also probably, boils down to the idea. Well, I really can't say that because I went to Denver and cleaned them up in Denver. So I really can't say the weather might play a factor because they're a warm weather team. But I think they could be sneakily dangerous. It could be one of those things where people don't really necessarily take them serious, and they could sneak up and win a playoff game or two, depending on who they play. And when they play. Yeah,
I think their biggest, and Violator was talking about it before we lost him. You need to bring a run game to the playoffs, and the Jags have that. And they have one of the better running games of the NFL. So, ETN, obviously Tootin injured, but it looks like they're going to get him back before the playoffs start. So I don't know, man. I think the Jags, and they got, what were you gonna say, Alex?
No, I thought you were done. So my bad. But like you were saying, a lot of the AFC teams are going to be, quote, unproven playoff teams, inexperienced playoff teams. So the one that will be experienced is going to be a 6 seed, or 5 seed, whatever the hell they're going to be. Right. So it's kind of all up for grabs. Like anything can go. And so that's why I said the way they're playing now, you have to view them as a contender if they continue down that path.
Yeah, respect. Yeah. Respect. Okay. All right. Any final words on the topic before we move on? All right. Okay. All right. So let's move on to our next topic in the headlines realm. Let's talk about the competition in the NFL. There has been a shift, and I kind of brought this topic up in regards to changing of the guard a couple of weeks ago, if y'all remember that. So I want to look at this from a different angle today in regards to parity versus top heavy. I think we've been used to for the last, I want to say maybe 20, 25 years where the league has been pretty top heavy, where you kind of knew was a clear, line in the sand. It was the line of demarcation where, who was the contenders and who were the teams that just weren't good enough to, either make the playoffs or contend in the playoffs if they happen to make it. So I think that we're looking at a mantra now, and it could be long-standing. There's more parity in the NFL right now. So what, from a fan or, just an analyst perspective, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the top-heavy model where the dynasty-led Patriots, the dynasty-led Chiefs, the Ravens had a run, in that space, we know the Bills had their marks, which we don't know if that's going to continue or come to the end at this point. Do you prefer the top heavy approach? We kind of know, where the line in the sand is, or do you prefer the parity model? Let's start with Mike Dubb. How do you feel about this particular aspect of it? Do you like the parity competition in the league, or do you like the top heavy approach?
I actually love the parity competition. It keeps the excitement of the game alive to not know what to expect and not know who's gonna compete on a week in, week out basis. The one thing that I will say, I think that the NFL probably favors the top heavy aspect because that's more of a superstar aspect. So, when you have top heavy, then they can kind of lean on those superstars to kind of carry the league. When you have the parity that you have right now, you have a lot of guys that are playing well but aren't necessarily superstar level. So we just mentioned guys like Trevor Lawrence, who's playing well right now, and people like the Broncos, who are a great team, but you can't point to one superstar that's on every commercial or anything like that on that team. So I think as fans, we're fighting an uphill battle, wanting to see that parity, because the NFL, if they can have it up to them, then they'll have the same teams on the CBS game of the week, and we'll see. I don't know how many times over these last 10 years we saw Tony Romo and the A team do a Chiefs game and all this stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's cool to have villains, because when you have that top heavy, you also have those villains that can, everybody wants to root against the Chiefs and wants to root against the Patriots. So that also adds to the aspect that the NFL likes to see. But me personally, I like the parity where anybody can beat anybody on any given Sunday. I like seeing new guys, compete for championships and new teams come up and rise. I'm not a fan of the tanking. I believe everybody, should have some type of skin in the game, and the parity kind of supports that. So I'm a fan of the parity.
I like it. That's not like you can go first, man. Doing that to us. All right, Violator, what do you say about this particular topic? Do you prefer parity or top heavy approach to the NFL?
Man, and I get the honor of following him. Anyway, yes, I am a fan of the parity, and this is the reason why. Like Coach Mike just said, to me, the league is just a big theatrical production. That's me talking to media folks. It's a production for them. And like he said, when it's top heavy, they got their heroes and they got the villains, and it's played out just like an old Western to me. But from a fan's perspective, you like the parity because it keeps the competition on edge at all times, and that's from week to week and from quarter to season to quarter to season. Nobody can slack off, or like you see in basketball and in baseball, they just take a few games off. It don't really matter. We got 60-some games to go. It's only 18 weeks now in the NFL, so every week is a playoff week if you really look at it from a fan's perspective. We just stated how fast this season has flown by. Now, I don't know if that's us getting older, myself, or time is just really flying by like they used to tell me when I was a kid. So now I'm seeing that, and the season is just like a couple of months, and we talk about it for a few weeks, and now we got the Super Bowl. So I'm all in for the parity. I love it. It keeps the competition wide open. It's sort of like the college game is, and I love college football more than pro football.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right, young RG, how you feel about this perspective? You like top heavy approach, the hero versus the villain, or you like the parity?
Yeah, I think for me it's a little bit easier for me to say I prefer the parity, as rooting for a team that has never had a dynasty, obviously never won a Super Bowl. Right. So obviously, yeah, as somebody, wanting to see a different team win it every year, not wanting to see the Chiefs win it every year, Patriots, yada, yada. I think it's a lot easier for me to say, yeah, I want to see the parity, but I can also understand those teams and those fans that have rooted for these teams that have been in dynasties and have lived through the dynasties. I'm sure if you ask them middle of the dynasty, they would say, no, we prefer it like this, top heavy, where, the best teams are winning. And because obviously the best team is their team that they're rooting for. So I think, I personally would, as Alex is smirking up there, smiling. Yeah. So I mean, I would love to, see how my opinion changes on this. Should the Chargers ever, I'm going to knock on wood multiple times, should the Chargers ever have a dynasty, I'm sure my opinion would sway. But, from where I am now as a fan, I think, I definitely prefer the parity approach.
Okay, well, you shouted him out, so let's talk to the real AG next. How did he feel about this particular aspect of it? I thought it was a good topic because I think we all speak from different walks of life. I think earlier in your fandoms, the Commanders and the Raiders had a somewhat of a dynasty type of environment, and the Chiefs had a current one. So I think this was a good topic to get different perspectives. So how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, selfishly, I would say I prefer the top heavy, but that's only when my team's the top. Pause there if needed, are the villain, whatever. But as a football fan or just a fan of the game, I prefer the parity where it's anyone can win. I mean, and that's true anyways. Like anyone can win any given Sunday in the NFL as it is right now. But I mean, this is a pretty exciting year. I don't think there was ever a week where there were, like lull games to watch. Like everything kind of had some playoff implications to it, or a team getting eliminated, or a team trying to gain, half a game here. And I thought this was definitely one of the more exciting seasons, taking my own team's season and outcome out of it. Just as a fan of the NFL and football, like it was a pretty exciting year, and it's shaping up to be a pretty exciting playoffs with a lot of newer teams in the mix. And I think that's pretty good for the NFL and just for football in general. So, as a whole, I think I like the parity, but it's pretty damn sweet when your team's on top in the top heavy approach. I can't lie.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. All right, Captain Jack, bring us home. How do you feel about this? Top heavy or parity?
Okay, well, again, since I'm old, like Don Rickles is somebody that I knew about. If you guys don't know who Don Rickles is, please, hit him up on Google. Don Rickles, you hockey puck. And that's one of Don's best. Anyway, actually, let's go way back. I mean, we can go back to like the 50s where the Browns were just kicking ass in the All-American Football Conference in the 50s and 60s, the Packers in the 60s, the Steelers and the Raiders and the Dolphins in the 70s when the Chiefs really, really sucked back then, shall we say? Well, I needed to drop that. So it's always been times where there's been top-heavy teams. I just think that really – you have a top-heavy, parity-filled league. And let me explain that. It's been where the shifting has come, where the guys and teams that have been, those people that have been at the very top are now trying to basically to settle down. And if there's a new influx of teams that are making their mark, the ebb and the flow. The Chargers used to be really good with Dan Fouts in there, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember that. I did. It was always great beating them, but, it was a pain in the ass when they had Dan Fouts and Kellen Winslow and Joyner and Wesley. I can't remember the other guy's name, but they had a team that just scored, 50 points a game, and you had to score 52 on them because their defense would always let it in. So it was a top-heavy team that did the ebb and flow. And I really think that we're getting that now, or maybe because of the way that the NFL is run, it's not quite as top-heavy as it used to be, where there were always the haves, and then the have-nots are very easy to see. It's just that there's more, 8 and 9 teams, or the 9 and 8 teams than you would see, but there's still the guys that are still top-heavy are the ones that are going to be there. There is an ebb and flow. There's a changing of the guard. The waves are here. So you have a parity-filled, top-heavy NFL, and think about it, and you'll understand what I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough. For me, I'm a little torn because the top-heavy approach, it was one of those things where you wanted to, if you were that team that wasn't involved, or you're a fan of that team that wasn't involved, you always wanted to beat, the top-heavy team, and that kind of gave you more pride. So if you were to defeat them in an actual game or a game in the playoffs, that would kind of give you it's my coming out party now. I always use the Ric Flair mantra: to beat a man, you got to beat the man. So that particular aspect of it always made me feel like, at the top of that approach was good because you just want to knock the people off the top that were there. But in the parity perspective as well, I feel like, you give yourself more of a chance if you're not in the dynasty conversation to win and be relevant in a sense. So I can see both sides of it, in all honesty. If I had to choose between one or the other, because I'm a Chargers fan, I would definitely choose the parity aspect of it. But the top-down approach, because we wanted to be the one that knocked the Chiefs off, give them a hard way to go and, be the ones that kind of keep them from reaching the ultimate goal, then yeah, I can see some value in it as well. I'm not going to talk about the money aspect of it all, but yeah, that's definitely something that I definitely wanted to see while that was there. But the parity approach is definitely live and direct, and I think we might see it here. I think we might see a team go far in the playoffs that we weren't expecting at all. And that definitely leans towards the parity idea. What does CJ have to say? So loyal, I haven't even tossed my Jamarcus Russell jersey. That's nice, CJ.
That's loyalty, man.
CJ, all you gotta do is get some name tape and change Russell to Genty, and you get a Jenny jersey.
There you go. There you go. Same number, right?
Yeah.
Number 2.
There you go. All right, that works.
Never get rid of your jerseys. Just get the new name tapes. Your Randy Moss jersey could be a Jeff Jagger jersey. I have plenty of other examples. Okay, I have plenty of other examples.
Hey, I still have a JC Jackson jersey from the first year when he came over.
Oof.
And I haven't thrown that one out. And
Big oof.
Big oof is right. As much as I probably wanted to.
I'll admit mine too, because he wore the number I wore in college. I have a Kenneth Murray jersey at 56.
Ooh, bigger.
That one might be worse.
Yeah, I got a Kenneth Murray jersey. Yeah, I did.
See, all of that makes you guys appreciate where you're at right now. See, so
that's a fact.
That Russell comment took me back. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because I
He
wore
could throw 70 yards on his knees,
Yeah, I wore 56 in high school and college. Yeah, and so did Kenneth Murray when he first got into the league. So I was like, I got to get that jersey. 56, first round draft pick linebacker, got to get it. And he was a complete and utter bust. So, yeah, so we all got to wear it at some point. So always got to wear it at some point. But yeah, good stuff. All right. So any other go backs on the parity versus top heavy topic before we move on? All right.
Did I answer the question effectively by not answering it effectively? I can't. I think I kind of.
was a pretty good answer.
I think it was a pretty good answer. I liked it.
That one. Yeah.
I like it.
So let me answer your question with another question.
That part. Right, exactly. All right, so let's move on down the line. Let's talk about the biggest mistakes in 2025. So we're getting into the holiday season. Easy, Cap. Not yet. Don't shoot the gun just yet. Just hold it in the holster.
That's what she said. Come on now.
I was going to say something else. That made it. You just get there anyway. I held back what I was really going to say. I was going to say don't shoot your load, but clearly you know
what I was thinking, baby. I had it for you.
Yes, indeed. So we're going to talk about, as we get into the holiday season and get towards the end of the year, we're almost into 2026. So we're going to talk about what we feel like the biggest blunders or the biggest mistakes, the biggest failures were in 2025, and what the panel feels like was I just can't believe they hit that moment that wound up being a complete disaster. So I'm going to start with Archie to leave Dub for it. I might let Dub bring it home at this time because he's still in right there. But yeah, so what do you feel like the biggest mistake was in 2025 across the NFL? What do you think the biggest blunders were?
Man, this is a tough one because I feel like there's a lot of avenues you can go this route, but I'm going to go something that's a little bit more recency bias, but you can kind of extrapolate it throughout the entire season. What the hell is John Harbaugh doing in Baltimore? Because why is your starting number one, top 3 running back for the last decade or so not getting a single snap touch in the fourth quarter of a 1-score game when the last time he touched the ball, he scored a touchdown? It's just truly like mind-boggling. I guess I can wrap this all up by saying the biggest failure is head coaches getting way too in their head, pun intended, about how to run a team and not just sitting back and realizing, this guy's doing really good. He is the reason we're winning this game right now. I should probably give him more touches. Forget game plan. Forget what discussions we had coming into this game. Ride the hot hand. And I feel like coaches sort of like overcoach or, overstep, however you want to say it, and trying to get too cute and thinking like, oh well, I'm the smartest man. I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to play my best player, especially when my starting quarterback is out with an injury. God forbid we do what's been working. And you know what? At the end of the day, like Harbaugh probably won't get fired. I say that very muddily.
They could be agree to part ways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's kind of my thought process behind it, is that he will, say I'm stepping away from the team, that kind of thing. But I think Lamar is done with Harbaugh, and I think he's ran his course as a head coach. And I just feel like these coaches, man, and I know I'm singling out Harbaugh here. There are a few others in there as well. But I feel like these coaches just don't realize what they have, and they just think that I'm smarter than everyone else. I know what I'm doing. And then when it bites them in the ass, they come out on the press conference and they're like, oh, we had a game plan in place. We try to stick to it as much as possible. And as fans, we don't want to hear that, man. Just put the damn best players out there on the field and let them go win you the game.
Yeah. You can't argue that at all. I mean, I don't understand it. And I actually think that's a different topic about Derrick Henry. I think he's about done.
I agree, but
unfortunately,
I can't believe that that's how he's going to go out.
I agree. Yeah,
yeah. I'm not. I'll get into it.
Right. We'll talk about it because we'll as the next week, 2 weeks get to be completed. We'll talk about coaches. I'm sure it's going to come up again. So we'll get into more of coaching talk in the next few pods. But yeah, I definitely think that something's brewing differently in Baltimore. It's going to need a reset. But yeah, let's go over to Violator next. What do you feel like the biggest mistakes were in 2025 across the league?
I'm gonna start with my team.
Okay.
The low-hanging fruit.
Okay.
Not pushing to get their franchise QB was mistake number one.
There you go.
Not addressing the offensive line, which has been, in my estimation, ignored for about 3 seasons. Really, they needed to retool that, and get some able bodies in there. Third, I'm going to say probably the Falcons trading away all those future first round picks,
Say it again.
The Falcons, they traded those future first round picks for Pierce.
Yeah.
That's come to bite them in the rear end.
And Penix is hurt, and it's like
Penix is the man got Penix is out. Now they're 360 back around to I forget his name off the top of my head, man. Just
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Big Chain Kurt,
Big Kirko.
Kirko Chains.
You like that? You like that?
So, I mean, as professional organizations, it just baffles me as a fan to see these people of high standards, high pay status, making decisions that really just cripple organizations, man, for years.
You know what's weird about James Pierce? Yeah, I mean, they did trade up to get a first round pick. He had 8.5 sacks up to this point.
He's doing pretty good, but it's just like, to what cost?
You're right. To what avail? Yeah.
Myles Garrett.
It's not winning them games, Like they have a lot of sack. I think we talked about it a few weeks ago. Like they're up there in sack total.
They are
as a team.
Yeah, they are in the top 10. You're right. But yeah, and again, it just hadn't translated to win. So what are we doing here? And you'll have a first round pick this year to addressing the deficiencies, But we'll see. I mean, Penix will come back there, get their right tackle back. So we'll see how they roll. But that's another coaching conversation we got to have in the next couple of weeks. Will they keep Raheem? That's another thing. So that's, we got to worry about that. Okay. All right, AG, tell us what you think the biggest mistakes and biggest blunders were in 2025 from your end.
Yeah, I was going big picture, and then RG made me kind of pivot as he was talking recent, coach ones. But, I think from my team's perspective, the biggest mistake was, thinking that they could just kind of roll it back with the same core after they lost the Super Bowl the way they did, and try to go younger and unproven on their offensive line, and we saw how that ended up. For the Chiefs this year, and your franchise cornerstone player gets hurt, and I mean now who knows what's going to happen. So definitely biggest blunder or biggest failure for the Kansas City Chiefs there. I think league-wide, the biggest mistake to me, and maybe this is kind of a compounding few years of mistakes, but to me it's got to be the Bengals putting all their chips into, we're just going to pay this offense, pay for this offensive core of Burrow, Higgins, and Chase, and see what that does, because, hell, we were a competitive team, 3 years ago, and that's just totally imploded, and now they're just in financial dismay. Their quarterback's talking cryptically about retiring. It's just a dumpster fire now, and it's they put all their eggs in that basket, and it got all the egg on their face pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's definitely a good one. Yeah, I like it. Okay, good stuff. All right, Dub, I'm gonna let you go next.
Dub, yours.
Yeah, appreciate you. I think from my team's perspective, you definitely got to look at hindsight is of course 2020, but I think it was a big mistake for us to go older and double down on our vets. So, for example, we went in, brought back Ertz, brought back what's my guy?
B-Wags.
Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner. And if you watch this, Bobby Wagner is a great stand-up guy, Hall of Fame player, one of the best linebackers of all time. But he's a liability in coverage out there. I mean, it's just
he lost a step now.
Yeah, he lost a step. It's just
2 steps.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a good look to see him out there in coverage. And I think we could have had a better contingency plan and bringing in younger talent and bringing in kind of something to sustain us for the future. Of course, we tried to build off of what we did last year, but I think we were hoping for that magic again instead of kind of getting to the core. So I think we went a little bit too cosmetic with it in the offseason approach. And as far as the big picture, I have to say probably, the Colts and, just I understand they went all in with Sauce, and I understand that they wanted to trade away some picks because they felt like they had a team that could win this year. But man, did that backfire quickly. Now here you are without a starting quarterback, without your future franchise quarterback who's injured, without Sauce, and without those picks. And things just really changed around really quickly for them. And also of course they traded away young AD Mitchell. He wasn't panning out so far, but to give up on it, I don't want to say give up, but of course they had to give up some assets for Gardner. But to pivot from a guy not even a full, year after you drafted him is, it's kind of, sad to see or just, kind of baffling to see. So I'm curious to see where they go next. Of course, Jonathan Taylor's not getting any younger. Their offensive line is, they're not the youngest team. The Colts are not the youngest team, so I can see why they went in a win now mode. But now they're going to have to pivot and find some type of answer. Maybe it's a veteran quarterback, or I don't know what the answer is going to be for him. But if you would have asked us in Week 8 that if the Colts would be in this position, I think all of us would have been a little shocked. So I think that's the biggest blunder, and just not even saying that it's their fault, but they definitely fumbled the bag this year.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say it when it happened because I'm a Chargers fan, obviously, and I'm a Phillip Rivers advocate. But I didn't want to see Phillip Rivers come back for this particular purpose because I knew, in back of my mind, that the Colts were in trouble, and it just wasn't a simple issue with quarterback. I think they were going down with Daniel Jones if he was still healthy. I think they weren't going to win a game past that blunder they had. What they lose to? Would they lose to the Chiefs?
Yeah.
When they lost to the Chiefs, I was like, "This is done. It's done. It's over. It's a wrap. They're going downhill." And then Daniel gets hurt. And then they bring in Rivers. I'm like, he might not come. He might come in, light up, and not win a game, and that's what's happening. He literally might not win a game in his return. So I didn't want to see him, come back for that. You sacrifice your Hall of Fame candidacy, to go winless and then go back into have to wait 5 more years. That's crazy. But that's my brief rant. I had to get that out at some point, but it was bothering me. It was bothering me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I didn't like it. But yes, Cap, please bring us home. Give us your unexpected take on who you feel like the blunders were in 25.
Okay, I want to do an addendum. First off, you know what? Before I do my addendum, I want to talk about Phillip Rivers because I was really, really impressed with him the other night. Okay, on the Monday night, and I'm looking at him like, who's that new offensive tackle at 17? And then I knew who it was. I'm just saying, he looked like me wearing a jersey. But I will say this: Phillip Rivers, for being on the couch for 5 years, looked a hell of a lot better than Carson Palmer did being on the couch and being taken up by the Raiders. I will give Phillip Rivers props, okay? But honestly, people are saying this in jest that maybe he came back in order to get the insurance for his kids. That's not too far from the truth. You get insurance for another 5 years, good on you. If you really know or think in your heart that you're going to go into the Hall of Fame and you're relatively young, he's 44, so maybe he'll hit it by the time he's 50. That's fine. You know, if it comes down to dollars and cents, good for him. And the thing is, he didn't tarnish his Hall of Fame. He didn't tarnish his Hall of Fame candidacy. He actually improved it. He actually improved it.
He's not damaging his career or anything. You just, you're going out there risking your body and your I don't want to say your life, but you're definitely risking a lot to go out there to play football to not win games. But
he looked fabulous, especially this last game. Monday night game.
Has there ever been a player in the league that one has a grandchild and has a child that is the same age as some of his teammates? Right. I don't think so.
That is the first.
Well, that's a Hall of Fame fact right there.
I'm pretty sure that George Blanda had a grandkid when he was playing football for the Raiders in '72.
Wow. For my time. Okay.
When he was kicking?
Yeah. When he was kicking and playing quarterback, winning games for the Raiders against the Kansas City Chiefs in the year of 1972, when he single-handedly came in and won 5 games. 5 at the age of 48.
My dad was like 5 in 72, so I wasn't even developed in his sack yet.
But a twinkle in his eye.
Yeah, I wasn't but a skid mark on the underbit.
Background is black, so you can see what your IQ quotient. Yeah, right here.
But Cap, did you get out what your biggest blunders were before?
No. I did want to add to it because I wanted to give props to a gargler for like one time ever, or an ex-gargler playing for the Nags. Okay. I made it full circle, playing for the Garglers and the Nags. But Pete Carroll coming in here and destroying this team, bringing his 2 sons, Tweedledum 1 and Tweedle 2. I usually say F Tango for people like that. Taking a product of Chip Kelly and then overriding Chip Kelly, who is a good or better offensive coordinator than anybody that has been in there recently, overriding him and not letting Chip Kelly do what he wants to do. And then just totally destroying this team. Making it worse than it was when AP, who doesn't have a clue, was the coach from last year and just said, well, hey, hold my beer, AP. I'm going to make you look good. I tell you, I cannot get rid of Pete Carroll faster than anything are. And I will say this, the Raiders would have been a hell of a lot better if they even had, God forbid, Greg Olsen called a hell of a game yesterday. And those are words that you a lot of times won't hear, but Greg Olsen almost single-handedly, and probably with Joe Philbin doing some effort on the offensive line, because that offensive line looked a hell of a lot better. And I sure as Foxtrot knew it's not Brendan Carroll coaching those guys. It's Joe Philbin, in my estimation. So that's it. Pete Carroll sucks. Just like JETS sucks. Pete Carroll sucks. Bringing it all home, baby.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Since we're doing team and big picture, I'll go to the same route. I think the Chargers did a big time disservice by not addressing the interior O-line properly in the offseason. You look at a guy like Drew Dahlman, who I was pounding the table for them to sign. When they had the cap space, they could have doled out the cash to bring in a quality center, and they doubled down on Bradley Bozeman instead. And I would argue, now clearly, Rashawn Slater's injury was a freak accident in practice, but I argued this on the Electric Shot Pod, and I argue it here, that if the interior O-line was not as bad as it is and was, we would not have lost Joe Alt. Because his injury came on 2 blown pass protections on the interior O-line. Zion Johnson was responsible for the first, and Trey Pipkin was responsible for the second. They got completely utterly whooped up front, and the guys that they got beat by whipped into Joe Alt's leg and sent him onto the IR. So if the interior O-line was better, had you even just addressed the center and signed Drew Dahlman, who is the top-rated center in all of football right now, just made the freaking Pro Bowl, you just don't get him, you would have been better off holistically on the O-line. We wouldn't be having these issues, and that's going to, again, ultimately be the reason for or not as to how far the Chargers will go at this point. They've been living off of coaching right now, but sooner or later, that particular protection aspect of it or lack thereof is going to bite the Chargers in their rear. So I think that was one of the biggest blunders for me personally as a Chargers fan. And globally and top down from a league perspective, I think that looking at Nick Sirianni, not understanding, learning from the Shane Steichen to whoever the hell the coach was after Shane Steichen before they got
Brian Johnson, wasn't it?
whoever that guy was.
Some generic ass guy.
Exactly. Some Walmart worker that came on and started coaching. Not learning from his mistakes, because you went from Shane Steichen
to Brian Johnson is the great singer for AC/DC. Okay, so don't badmouth Brian Johnson of AC/DC. Now, as a coach,
he's no Bon Scott, but
yeah. So that particular aspect of it, knowing how bad you were or how unachieving you were in a space in that season after going to the Super Bowl with Shane Steichen, not understanding the need or in the desire to have a better OC after losing Kellen Moore, not addressing that in the offense could or could not take them, back to the promised land with Pachulo. It was a big in time and utter mistake in my bag. So I think that Sirianni not recognizing that he needed to go deeper into finding himself a better OC was a mistake in my opinion. I got a bunch of them. Even honestly, I could say that the Dolphins doubling down on Tua, the Cardinals doubling down on Kyler. I can go all day. I can go all day. Yeah. As Captain America said, I can do this all day. But it's a bunch of blunders in the league that I think they should have done in that space. But
the Dolphins were my backup one, because it's like, why, if the actions that they've taken the last few weeks, like why the hell did they not tank at the deadline and trade Achane and trade Waddle and get picks? Like, what the hell are they doing?
Exactly. And you find a GM and everybody else still in place. That it's weird. I got another one. This is a bonus one here. I think one of the biggest mistakes that the Giants did was not firing Joe Shane instead. And I'll qualify it by saying this. If you remember when Josh Allen came into the league, they said he was reckless. Jackson Dart now has a reckless tag on him. Who was the coach that coached the reckless out of Josh Allen? It was Brian Daboll. So now you have another reckless reclamation project in Jackson Dart. So you should have kept Brian Daboll and fired Joe Shane. I think that's going to come back to bite him too. I think I'm
hoping we get a Daboll over there without first round pick, to try to groom him. That's just wishful thinking, though. But
yeah, I mean, it's not far fetched. I mean,
he's season. Got to have a wish list, later.
So and I go back to my take about having the Eagles get him, because he was Jalen Hurts' offensive coordinator at Alabama his second year there.
Right.
So remember that too. Oh yeah, but that was mine. So any other bonus ones you guys want to add before we move on?
I think Alex, you already mentioned the Bengals, right?
You did.
Yeah.
No more Cincinnati. No more Cincinnati for me. No.
Just the Bengals.
Right.
I will say this. I think that and obviously, and this is nation or NFL wide, but it does pertain to the Raiders. Figuring out what Tom Brady can and can't do is a mistake.
Okay.
We talked about that last week. Got to be full ass, no half ass in it.
Yeah.
Great point.
All ass or no ass,
to me, that's a real power play with the network. That's what I think that is. That's a power play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they already know that if he gets more time in the office, so to speak, that would be kind of a conflict of interest, I guess. So that's why that's just a power play on them to hold him at bay with a short leash.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I'm all about full ass. I'm just going to let people know that.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
I don't think anyone doubted that, Cap.
Not at all. That's one of the things we didn't have on our bingo card is being accurate. Is you're not going that far. So yes, indeed, we got you covered. All right, so let's move on down the line. Let's talk about quarterbacks and coaches. We talked about Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams, and Drake May in length on this particular podcast this season, and they all had new coaches this year. If anybody's paying attention. So, from those three quarterbacks, who all are in playoff contention right now, I think they're all going to make the playoffs at this particular juncture.
They've all clinched, I think, right?
I think they all have. So
That is correct.
So with Liam Cohen matched up with Trevor Lawrence, with Ben Johnson matched up with Caleb Williams, and Mike Vrabel matched up with Drake May, what quarterback, from the panel's perspective, do you think benefited the most from the coaching change? Is that out of those three particular quarterbacks? Let's start with Violator. Who do you think benefited the most? From these particular three from their coaching changes in 2025?
I'm gonna go with the low hanging fruit again because it's right here. I'm gonna say Drake May because of the system he's in and the stability that Coach Vrabel has brought in, and they're back to the old, from my eyes, the old Patriot way. No name guys, and they're just kicking ass every Sunday. And look, now they're at the top of their division. So, and that's the kid that I was hoping we would have picked in that draft too, was Drake May. So kudos to him in year 2, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Year 2. Yep.
He's playing like his hair's on fire, man. He's a gunslinger. I just like that whole moxie that he brings to the game. So I'm rooting for him, man. So I'm gonna pick Drake May.
Okay, good stuff. All right, Alex, who you got in this particular conversation? Caleb, Drake, or Trevor?
Mine was Drake May too, man. Unfortunately, I kind of preparing for the show. I went and looked at the, kind of year-to-year stat comparison of where these guys were at last year and this year. And I mean, Drake May is the one you see the leaps and bounds difference with, as well as just the fact that he's been, in MVP talks all year. He went from relatively unknown rookie on a dumpster fire team, to league MVP on the hottest team of the whole season. I don't know how you could say he's not the one most benefiting from it, because you got an experienced coach in there who's turned around a historically pretty bad franchise and made them almost a year in, year out contender, who then understood what type of coaches he needed to get around a young QB to continue to develop and play into his strengths. And we're seeing that, come to fruition this year. Because he played 13 games last year, and he is, thrown almost 1,500 yards more than he did last year. He's 10 more touchdowns, turnovers are down. And like I said, he's playing much different football than he was last year.
Okay, fair enough. All right, RG, who you got in this conversation? Trevor, your guy, or Caleb and Drake?
Your boy.
Get out of here with that.
I know you
But unfortunately, I think I am going to go with Trevor Lawrence here. And the only reason I'm going with him on that is because with these other QBs, Drake May and Caleb, they are still obviously very young. They're both in their second year. Trevor has obviously been in this league for a bit. Came in the year after Herbert in 2021, so he's got some more experience than these other QBs are. We kind of have seen what we thought he could be, and then now it looks like Liam Cohen has truly unlocked what Trevor Lawrence can be. He's provided him with one of the best run games in the NFL. He's put a sound defense around him, specifically against the run, which, as we mentioned earlier, once you get into the playoffs, you need to be able to run the ball and play defense. And if you're able to stop the run game, which is what the Jags do better than anyone else, that is insanely dangerous. And then to top it all off, like this streak that he's been on the last 4 or 5 weeks, he looks like he looks like the number 1 overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, that everybody thought he was going to be. Everybody was preaching him as the next the greatest prospect since Andrew Luck, can't miss. And, he had been very, very underwhelming up until this year. Obviously had the massive playoff comeback against the Chargers. I've beat that dead horse enough. Again, I fully attribute that to Brandon Staley.
Keep that horse, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I fully attribute that to Brandon Staley and his ineptitude and inability to do anything on a football field. But I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been balling, man. And, if this run game is going to continue to do what it's been doing all this year, that just takes such a load off his shoulders. And, we've seen against one of the best defenses in the NFL what he can do. So yeah, as begrudgingly as it sounds, and believe me, it is, I think I'm gonna have to go with Trevor on this one.
Okay. Again, I said this to you earlier. I gotta say it again. You gotta say it on my brain, man, because you took my take in verbatim. Because I'll add on to this real quick. It'll be my take, and I'm gonna pass over to Dub. That Trevor was more under the microscope, in my opinion, than the other two were, because he's on his third coach, and he's being paid. The other two are rookies, and you can reset after their rookie deals if they didn't work out with your coaches. But Trevor, he's being paid. So he was more in the win now, I got to get it right now mode with Leon Cohen. They got it right early, because had they not, we were talking about this in the preseason, like if you don't have a good season this year, they could be thinking about moving on. So, I think that you're absolutely positive right now. I think he's the most beneficial, beneficiary in this particular conversation. But, that's just my opinion. What do you got, Dub? What do you feel like benefits the most out of these three?
I'm gonna go with Caleb Williams, and this is something that I've said. I feel like I say this almost every show, but the Bears were going to be good if they could run the ball. Their identity is going to be running the ball, and Ben Johnson bringing that two-headed monster attack that he had in Detroit, bringing that over to Chicago, has been Caleb Williams' best friend. Just taking that pressure off of him, giving him the opportunity to kind of give him some boundaries. Where it's not just a free-for-all, go out there and just do your thing, giving him some structure, giving him some boundaries, and not having him throw the ball 50 times in Chicago win. So Ben Johnson and that run game looks great in Chicago. I think that's giving Caleb Williams an opportunity to kind of relax and let the game come to him. And when he needs to, he still has the ability to be a little bit creative with it. He still has ability to make those big time throws that he needs to make when he needs to, but it's not completely on his shoulders like it was last year. Last year was just hard to watch, and you could see just from how they were building the structure of that team that it was going to be boom or bust, and obviously it ended up not booming. So the shift that they made this year with their approach to their offense and their approach to Caleb Williams, I think is going to support him in the long term. So I'll definitely say Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson.
I like it. Okay. All right, Calvin Jack, bring us home. Who you feel like benefits the most, Caleb, Trevor, or Drake May?
Well, obviously, the mic drop was for my guy that Dub hit, okay? And I'm going to tell you why it's Caleb Williams as well. Drake May got the benefit of Vrabel being a defensive coach. So what happened with Drake May? Well, he got an offensive coordinator as an offensive coordinator. That is a very, very positive aspect, and that's Josh McDaniels. Probably the only time I'll say anything positive about Josh McDaniels. But right. As an OC, that's where he flourishes. Josh McDaniels is an OC. Don't overstep that, Josh. Just know your lane, brother. Know your lane, okay? Vrabel takes the team. Josh does things on the offense. Drake May improves, okay? Now, with Sunshine, yeah, Liam Cohen has done a lot with Trevor Lawrence. With Trevor Lawrence, like you said, he's getting paid. He's getting paid. So it obviously he has the capabilities and the longevity. I mean, I hate saying longevity because he's like maybe 7-8 years in, if that. So he's already got the track record. He's not a rookie per se, where Caleb Williams and Drake May, they're on year 2. You expect that out of Trevor Lawrence. He needed a little bit of a change, but he has the pedigree already. Liam Cohen helped him out, but that's great. Caleb Williams with Ben Johnson in there, with the guy who and his running backs, okay, Swift and the Minor guy, excuse me, which is a bad thing to have if you're a sailor.
You want to catch that?
Thank you. Yeah, but if you catch some Manungai, you definitely need to go see the doctor for a shot in the ass. Okay, I'm just saying that. So you have Manungai, and then you have Swift, and all that goes with it. You're not doing as much, but it's because of Johnson working with Caleb Williams, making that team a hell of a lot better offensively, because defensively they just needed a shot in the arm, or as I said with Manungai, a shot in the ass. And then, you go from there. Caleb Williams has definitely benefited it. And there's an addendum to your mic drop there, Coach. But yeah, Caleb Williams.
I like it. Yeah, Caleb, makes me cringe a little bit with his, I guess you can say, short and medium accuracy. If you talk about Madden, you have short accuracy rating, your medium accuracy rating, your accuracy rating. He has a good deep ball accuracy rating, but his short and intermediate accuracy a little iffy. In those intermediate and short throws, in certain cases, what they call the layups throws, he kind of makes me cringe a little bit. But when it comes to big time throws and clutch throws, he's one of a kind. He's one of a kind,
and he's on pace to become their first 4,000-yard passer in a long time or ever. I don't want is
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that right there is a feat within itself. So yeah, shout out to Caleb. Yeah, shout out to Caleb.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would add too to your Trevor Lawrence thing. Look at how bad things are for Tampa Bay and their offense and Baker Mayfield with Liam Cohen leaving. You know what kind of impact he brings or leaves behind.
Yeah, it's funny because they were cooking pretty good early in the season, but they've fallen off the cliff. That's interesting in its own right. That's something maybe we need to talk about later down the line. But yeah, definitely something to be had, because again, their offense doesn't look the same. We knew it was going to be different, but for the first 5 or 6 weeks, I know personally because I have a Mecca Ibuka in fantasy. So I definitely know that he can.
Yeah, the ugly rear, rear.
I do want to point out, though, it's funny that Cap complained about his gambling,
right?
But nobody bats an eye. But we talk about fantasy points.
It's triggering. It's triggering.
Yeah, triggering. Yeah.
That's the trigger word for Cap. It's the trigger word.
My fantasy team is the Raiders. Always has been and always will be. I'll just leave it at that.
That's funny.
I'll say this to just drive home the Trevor Lawrence point even more. He's already at 33 total touchdowns this year. He's got 7 rushing and 26 passing. He's already broken his most touchdowns combined in a season by 3, and we still got 2 weeks left to play. So, just like we say that Liam Cohen really brought this run game and this run defense there, Trevor Lawrence is having his probably best season of his career. So, I mean, there's just not enough you can say about, the improvement he's had this year.
Can we say blanket statement that quarterbacks that are, kind of trending or learning or trying to develop into their prime need a good run game?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
What?
You're right.
And an offensive line. Offensive line.
That part, Cap, definitely, yes, indeed. But yes, I think that is paramount to the success of young quarterbacks. Have a good run game. If you're listening out there, aspiring NFL coaches, a little bit of a tidbit. Indeed.
O-line, baby, O-line.
Indeed. All right, so okay.
And Alex was an offensive lineman too. Take a bow, brother. Take a bow.
Former center. Yes, indeed. All right, so let's move on down the line. Let's talk about our rolling segment, our favorite segment of the show. Do you believe? Let's get into some questions here. Some first reaction questions to the panel. They do not know what the question is before now, and we're getting their first reaction off the cuff. No prep, no research. We're getting their real visceral reactions to these questions, and I got some good ones here, as always. All right, so let's start with Violator. Going back to Baltimore and talking about the Ravens and Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson and the Harbaugh and all these conversations we've had earlier in the pod. Do you believe that the window is closed for the Baltimore Ravens?
I think it's cracked, but I don't think nobody's can go through there. I think that window is pretty much gone. There's some disconnect, and we've all heard the rumors about, the disconnect between Coach Harbaugh and, Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of see that as the game takes place, sitting Mr. Henry down, they knowing that they're going to need him if they make the playoffs. So they're trying to, what do you call it, give him rep counts. And, you know, with him still fumbling every now and then, it's just, I just don't see it, man. You know, they got an O-line that's getting a little long in the tooth.
Yep.
Some free agents coming up. I'm hoping that we can get the center. But
Hey,
yeah,
hey,
Win the bell, baby.
stand in line. We're getting tired of Linderbaum. Stand in line.
look, come on. But anyway, I think that window has closed, and
Okay.
I think Buffalo's in that same little sphere right now, where that window is closing up on them.
Okay.
And I think their head coach is on a warm seat right now.
I like it. Okay. Good stuff.
I'll throw this out there for the Bills too. It has to be this year.
I
If
agree.
you don't get it done this year, and maybe I should have saved this for the hot takes, but if you don't get it done this year, Josh Allen, I can honestly say I don't know if you ever will.
No Lamar, no.
There got to be some
Joe Burrow,
discussions,
no
that's
Mahomes.
for sure.
I mean,
I think I said that last week. I mean, the one team that got in his way is not. I mean, we already know is not going to be there. So
Yeah.
I mean that conversation has to be starting now. You know?
Yeah. I mean, you know, again, all the quarterbacks that gave you trouble and or got you sent home. You know, Joe Burrow did it 1 year. Mahomes did it several years. So they're
4
not
times.
Yeah, they're not there.
A lot.
You're right. So
Right,
you know,
it's do or die this year.
I think it is. And have to have the weakest defensive unit they've had in quite some time is not a good sign. And that's Sean McDermott's side of the ball. But again, we
That's why I said that the one X factor could just be experience, and that Josh Allen's been there and been right there. You know.
Yeah, true. But can he be Superman for 4 games? Is the question. That is the question. All right, Dub, I got a really good one for you. You're gonna like this one. All right, so we talked about the Raiders and the Giants, fight for the number 1 pick bowl this weekend. The Tank Bowl. So, you know, as it stands right now, the Giants on percentage points have the number 1 overall pick, right? So, do you believe if the Giants were to keep the number 1 pick at the end of the season, do you believe that the Giants will draft another quarterback with the number 1 overall pick?
No, absolutely not. For a few reasons. Number one, I think that fan base and that team, that the locker room likes what they have in Jackson Dart.
Okay.
I think that they, you know, of course, the injuries have been an issue. I think that they're willing to, kind of see where that goes and see if they can work with that. That's number one. Number two, this isn't a particularly strong draft for quarterbacks. Fernando Mendoza, of course, they're projected number 1. Dante Moore from Oregon. Dante Moore is another name that's been thrown out there. Me personally, I don't love either one of them as like a must-have, can't miss prospects, anything like that. And then also number 3 is worst case scenario. If they were to have to pick a quarterback next, then you might have, the Manning up for it, again, the year after next. Mm-hmm. So for just a few different reasons, of course, we're putting the cart way before the horse here, but for a few different reasons, I don't think they would take the quarterback with the number 1 option.
Yeah, I mean, there was a conversation about them taking Mendoza, thinking he might be even a bigger time upgrade and trading Dart maybe for, draft compensation to another quarterback needy team that would ultimately, because he's on a rookie deal, he wouldn't be, too punitive on the cap, and they would just reset with Mendoza, especially likely having a new coach come in, new head coach come in. He may want Mendoza over Dart because he didn't draft Dart. So I thought that was an interesting conversation to have. So we'll see who gets the number 1 overall pick, number 1, and 2, what are their thought process? Because, I mean, you still have the trade down option as well, because you could trade down with the Raiders or anybody else to give them the number 1 overall pick and gain some more draft capital this year and next. Set yourself up for the next few drafts. So we'll see. But it's an interesting conversation to have because you do have to have that talk. Do we take Mendoza and reset with a new head coach and coordinator, or do we just ride with Dart and let him coach Dart up? So.
Yeah, and I don't think they're that far away to where they have to go in full rebuild mode. I think they should just stay. They just stay the course. They could probably get a coach.
Right,
exactly.
Find the right tackle and go to work because Scatterbu's coming back. They got Neighbors coming back. They're going to get a lot of guys back. So I think they're right there. Exactly. So I think we just need a good coach and a good right tackle, and they should be off and running.
And they got 4 first rounds on the deal.
Yeah. Right. And that pass rush on top of that, Burns, Carter, and company, Thibodeau. So yeah, they got a lot of working pieces there. So we'll see how things roll. But yeah, I thought it was a good conversation to have. Okay.
Yeah, Caleb Downs is right there, and
That's true.
hopefully he's there for us, So
Right. Yeah,
for
I definitely see that position as well. I get it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm right with you there. I'm right with you. Thinking the same thing. Okay, good stuff. All right, RG. I'm gonna give you a good one here, Paul.
What you got, Coach? Oh, Jesus.
Staying in the NFC, talking about trades. Now we've seen Micah go down, and the Cowboys have been eliminated from the playoffs. Do you believe that the Packers and the Cowboys both lost in the Micah trade?
Man, that's tough. I'm going to say no. I think the Packers still won that trade. Obviously, Micah going down with an injury is just absolutely brutal for them. I mean, there's not enough words in the English language that can just quantify how massive that loss is for them. At the time it came for them too. They're right there in the thick of it for the number 1 seed. And I mean, he goes down and that's basically all hope lost of trying to compete, because he was their defense essentially, with what's that D tackle's name? Rashawn Gary. He's also good on that line. He obviously sent away Kenny Clark to get Parsons. I think that's a net positive for the Packers there. But I think that the Packers still ultimately come away with the win from this trade, because you're going to get him back next year, and he's going to be on your team. I mean, as a Packers fan, you're hoping until he retires. You're hoping he can have that kind of level of impact where you just can't even fathom trading him. Cowboys, and the Cowboys at the end of it, what did it really do? Jerry wants to get on his soapbox and say, "Oh, we got better defensively. We needed to focus on stopping the run, and your defense was the worst in the league this year, behind maybe the Bengals." I mean, there really is no, players like Micah Parsons, they don't grow on trees.
They don't.
I mean, he is a bona fide, he probably was the best edge rusher this season besides Myles Garrett. I mean, I could obviously make the argument he's the best. He was the best edge rusher on a winning team this year. That is, by far no question.
That matters, yeah.
And, I just think the Cowboys, this is a move that's going to haunt the Cowboys for a long time, for a long, long time.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, Alex. I got a good one for you as well. We talk about the Jags, in large space between Trevor Lawrence and what they're doing as a team. Do you believe that the Jaguars are the most dangerous team in the AFC at this point?
No, I do not think they're the most dangerous team in the AFC. And I think that comes down to just, it's just the inexperience of it. Like you said, they're definitely the hottest team right now. But I think, once you get into the playoffs, the experience part's going to come in. And, that component and just the unprovenness of, can this be sustainable into a playoff run, I don't think makes them the most dangerous team in the AFC.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Solid run game. Trevor Lawrence playing out of his mind like a Pro Bowler. The defense, best in the league.
I still think it's Houston, man. I don't know. It's just because of that defense.
I'm not arguing that. I mean, they're at the top of the division technically, and they had a little bit of a stinker.
I know.
So I figured I'd throw that out there, see how you liked it. See if you thought differently week to week. So I figured I'd throw that out there. But it's just a test. Just to test how you felt. Just to see how you felt. Okay. All right, Captain Jack, I got a good one for you. Your buddy, fellow Floridian, is in talks of coming back in 2026. So, do you believe it is a mistake to bring Mike McDaniel back in 2026 for the Dolphins?
Why?
Solid answer. I'm not even gonna lie.
Let me answer your question with another one.
I'm gonna do. What's the name of that agent that says next question? The guy that makes all the money for he's the best agent, and he's like, Drew. Thank you, Drew. Why? Next question. I mean, there's I can't add to that. There's no reason for that. I'm actually kind of disappointed. I was waiting for the killer shot, but yeah, there's no reason for him to be back. I mean, I'm sorry. I am dumbfounded. I'm sorry, Coach. I really can't expand upon that. I'm sorry.
That's
Hey,
fine. That is
fair.
fine. I mean,
Proof is right there. Just
I mean,
that's
he-
probably would have
he-
been my response.
right. He has a laundry list of reasons why not. Why not to bring him back? So yeah, I agree with you. There.
number one is he wears capri sweats
That's
and
a no-go.
vapes on the sideline. All right.
Right. It trolls
He
ball.
vaped on the sideline.
He
Really?
has.
Does he really? I never saw that. But
I
Yeah,
think
there's
we-
a video
we've
of
seen
him.
it.
I think
Yeah.
last year ripping a vapor.
oh wow.
I bet you he got fined like a mofo for that too, because that
Yeah.
went out in the 70s. You know,
that's-
I
that
remember
got
the old Raiders sitting on helmets, smoking cigarettes, Stabler, off.
Yeah.
That went out in the 70s. So if he's vaping, I'm sure he got fined.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
Why? Next question. Sorry, Coach.
but with the I guess again I said it last week. I think I'll say it again. Is that the coaching cycle isn't stellar this year. So the whole idea of firing your stable coach or your shaky coach for yet another project might be a bad idea too. So it will just really come down to what teams are thinking in regards to what they have on the horizon. Do they feel like they can get a better option?
And he didn't draft
Okay,
Tua, right?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, let
No.
me give an
Not
addendum to that.
really.
Let me give an addendum to that, okay? Because you said that the stability of the coaching cares. I mean, I would hang my franchise on somebody that is shaky or unknown, or you're throwing it out there to improve, because McDaniel was just that guy when he went in there, and he impressed for like maybe 1 or 2 years, and now he's he can't impress going into a whorehouse with a pocket full of $1,000 bills.
Jesus.
Not impressive. Okay. Point is, I would go get the unsteady, unknown. Hell, I'd get Signetti. If you want to have a name, actually, that's kind of like
he's not leaving Indiana. Ain't no way.
that's my hot take. Is like whoever gets Mendoza goes after Signetti. I'm sorry, I kind of blew my load a little bit early again. Sorry. But
Okay.
whoever drafts Mendoza, like maybe I don't know, a team that's in Vegas, goes and gets Signetti as their head coach as well.
Jack already said no. Hell no, absolutely not.
Yeah, Jack, we don't want to entertain that anymore.
Hey,
Hell no.
hey, some hot news here, Coach. DK Metcalf had $45 million in future guarantees voided because of his suspension, and lost $555K in salary this year.
First of all, let's address that first and foremost. Can you imagine paying one football game for $500,000, $500,000? He's losing 2 games. He's losing almost.
I wish I could just make that once.
Right, just a quarter.
Yeah, one time, one and done.
It's gonna be one game. I'm not asking for much.
Yeah.
Just one game.
I'm not getting traction after the game, but at least I can pay my medical bills.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Okay, all right, good stuff.
Coach,
And in
you ready for your
answering Kenneth's question, why not?
Oh,
There-
right.
Why
Right.
not? I take Jesse Menor. It's definitely a hell of a lot better.
He's not going to the ops. We're not doing that. He's not going to the ops.
Not letting him go. Come on, man.
Hell no.
No, not doing it. Not
He's
doing
gonna
it.
take the sign stealing operation
I
with him.
risk you go him. Before you get it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Sharon's available.
Like, I'm implementing my new assistant, Mr. Stallions.
Right.
He will be my right hand man.
All right. What you got from me, RG? What you got?
All right, we're going to bring it over to AFC for this one, Coach. Do you believe that Aaron Rodgers comes back and plays another year next year with the Steelers?
Why? Next question.
That's funny. Actually, funny enough, it's as much as it pains me to say, yes, I think he might. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he's having fun in Pittsburgh.
That's what I'm hoping your answer was.
Yeah, I think he's having fun in Pittsburgh. I don't want to see it personally. I just think that the Steelers just need to reset and go out there and get themselves a young franchise quarterback and start to rebuild that offense and find them a better OC. But I don't run the organization. Because I really think that's what keeps them in neutral. They don't want to be bad enough. They don't want to be bad enough to pick high in the draft to get them a franchise quarterback. But in all honesty, I mean, because hell, let's be honest, they could have had Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders this year, and they just opted to not pick either one of them. So they just want to be relevant. They don't want to be a contender. And I think that's what's the issue with Pittsburgh. You just stuck being, I won't call it mediocre, but you just stuck being good. You don't want to be great.
Got to keep that not losing streak alive,
with
man.
being okay.
Right? Yeah. It's like Belichick want to come back because he want to break the coaching record. Because that's really what I'm going to come back in the league for. He don't want to come back to win these Super Bowls and be relevant or start a new franchise, build a new quarterback, or build a new dynasty. He wants to come back to break the coaching record. That's all he wants to be in the league for. So you don't want to. He wants to be good enough to say I got a winning record and that's going to be my legacy. But again, winning the Super Bowl, I'm not sure if that's on his resume. He got one. This. I don't know. I just think that he could run it back with Rodgers if he decides he want to play. Now, how long he will have to wait on him, because Rodgers is good for telling you in September that he feel like playing, rather than telling you in June where you can kind of have some certainty, or April when you draft, so you know who to draft and who not to draft. But we could run up and spin a block on him. I can see that happening.
You know what? It depends upon how much peyote he smokes in that smokehouse that he does in the off season.
How much ayahuasca he consumes?
Ayahuasca.
Yep. Yeah. I can see it. Honestly, true. I can really see it. I don't want to see it, but I think it could happen. Especially what are your options above him? That's a veteran quarterback. Kyler Murray,
Mac Jones,
Jameis Winston, Jameis Winston.
Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers back in the fold.
Older.
You know what? I'm doing this again.
Right.
Dadgummit.
Right. Right. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, I definitely can see it.
And you know what? By the way, I did find out that Vince Evans is still alive and kicking, because I was talking to Jerry Robinson the other day. I'll drop a plug. I had him on my show last week, and Vince Evans called Jerry and said some positive things to Jerry Robinson. Vince Evans is probably your best older school quarterback option, and I think he's probably maybe 60. Maybe 60 something. But he's probably in shape. He's in better shape than I am. I know. He's probably 67, maybe. He's definitely full retirement age. I'll look it up. Wait, you guys talk. I'll look up Vince Evans.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. So that is our segment. Do you believe? All right. So let's talk some games here. Let's get inside cover forecast. Let's get inside games of the week. So we got some good games on the docket. We're not going to talk about the Tank Bowl. We already talked about it enough. But we're going to get into what the top 4 games we feel like for the week is. And we're going to start off with Saturday's game. Texans at the Chargers. This is for playoff seeding, and the Texans trying to keep themselves alive in the playoff hunt. Although I think they got a 2-game lead on the 7th seed at the moment. But in SoFi Stadium, Chargers actually favored by 2.5, which is a shocking number to me.
I'm very shocked, but I did see the injury report for the Texans, and it made it a little less shocking.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. All right, well, I think we all know what me and RG are going to do, so we'll skip the pleasantries, and we'll start with Dub. Who do you think wins this game, Texans or Chargers?
Who's on the injury report, RG?
Oh man, I mean, I think I saw Sheldon Rankins was on there. Kamari Lassiter is on there. I'm just trying to think like some bigger names.
The biggest one.
Shazier. I was just about to say
Aziz Shazier.
Well, those are my questions if they were on the defense, and those are 3 defensive starters. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I think it was going to be a close game regardless, but I thought that the Texans were going to have to be at full strength in order to pull that one out, and it doesn't sound like they will be. So definitely going with the Chargers.
Yeah, Houston, bring that offense that y'all played against with the Raiders, please. We appreciate that.
I beg of you.
Bring that offense that y'all played against the Raiders, please. We rewind that for this week. We want that offense.
Bring that defense you played against them, too, because when the hell – I would have never thought that Raiders were going to have 20+.
Let those lanes be available for Martin Hampton. He was going to have 20 yards.
Dub, I'm gonna make it probably convince you even more. Kamari Lassiter and Derek Stingley both did not practice today, on top of Trent Brown and Sheldon Rankins and Danico Autry.
Okay.
Right. Trent Brown.
I'm sure all of them.
Big Daddy
Trent Brown, the tackle that all he does is get on Twitter and eat Oreos.
Yes, that very one.
What did he say?
He's a fellow Gator, isn't he? Isn't he one of your Gators?
He is a fellow Gator, but I would say, hey, was it Triscuits, Twinkies, and Oreos, and Twitter? Although it's not Twitter anymore.
That's it, though.
That's pretty good, man.
It's pretty good, Cap. I like that. All right, Violet, who you got in this game? Texans or Chargers?
I got Chargers at home crowd, banged up Texans. Should be an easy win for you guys.
Oh man! All right, wait. Knock on
wood. Nothing's easy in LA. Nothing is easy in LA. Let's be real about it.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
We don't want it. We don't easy or hard pause. We want to dub.
It should be must-watch TV. Then I'll put it that way.
That I agree. We agree.
We all agree there. Fair enough. All right, Cap. Who you got in this game? Chargers or Texans?
What? Hey, who's this Cap guy? Who's this Cap? Now, you might want to look at what you're talking about while the man who's wearing the hat, okay? I just got out the hospital about an hour ago because I had to go see all my buddies, the Trent Browns, Twinkies and Twitter, and Stingley, who had his first touchdown since high school. Blessings to him. I tell you what, those Raider boys, they came in and they kicked our ass most of the time this game. And actually, I wanted to talk about something that y'all might have seen that I actually didn't see, was that touchdown that they called back because the guy, did he have possession? Did he not have possession? It looked to me just on the one scene that he did not have possession, so it looked like a good call. But I didn't see it because I was already up in the bar drinking some more booze. But I said I just came out of the hospital for all the rest of them. I will say this: it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that my boys are probably not going to do a double-double on the AFC West, in 2 weeks of session. So I'm pretty sure that those damn garglers are going to win the game.
Okay. All right, Alex, who you got? Chargers or Texans?
I'm going with Chargers. It's at home. Not sure which version of, like you kind of said, the Houston offense will show up. And with the banged up defense, Chargers just been finding ways to win. Like you said, they've been winning off coaching, and Harbaugh's going to bring that and have a game plan, for what this defense is good with. So feel good about that.
Fair enough. All right, good stuff. We all
Captain Jack don't drink, but damn it,
yeah. But Jonathan Oiler does.
The man in Houston that wears the hat, he definitely drinks. I don't know who you're talking about. Captain Jack don't. As Captain Jack, I will say this is a mighty fine Jack, non-Jack.
Yeah,
Jack and Coke.
There it is.
There you go. Okay.
Jack and Coke, hold the Jack.
Hold the Jack.
Just make a joke, Bobby.
in a dirty glass with some ice.
There you go. Okay.
Nice. I got you.
All right. So next up, we got the Seahawks and the Panthers, and they both coming off statement victories this week. The Seahawks flying high, beating the Rams in overtime, walk-off fashion with a 2-point conversion. Panthers coming off the
$250.
Well, we're sorry. We apologize. But yes, the Seahawks going to Carolina, going cross country to Carolina to pay the Panthers in that frigid East Coast air. And they're actually favored by 7.5 in this game, which is insane.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So who you got, RG? Seahawks or challenging Panthers?
Give me the Panthers and the points. 7.5 is way too much point. Way too many points for. You're telling me the Seahawks could win by a touchdown and the Panthers still cover?
Yeah, right.
Anybody who's a betting man, you got to go take advantage of that right away before that line drops. But I will end it with Kitty Go Meow.
I was gonna say, dude, come on. Tell him what that cat does.
Yes, sir.
Pause. Maybe not. Not a pause, but yeah.
Play. We can play. Yeah, we can play with it. Yeah, I like to play with the kitty.
That's what I was waiting for, Coach. That's what I was waiting for.
Yes, indeed. All right, now who you got? Seahawks and Panthers?
I'm going Seahawks. The Panthers are they're fighters. The Panthers are fighters, and they're going to make it tough. I think it'll be a close one. I'll probably take the Panthers to cover, but I think the Seahawks win overall.
I like it. Okay. All right, Vado, who you got? Seahawks, Panthers.
I'm going to see the Panthers. That red hot Bryce Young continues to sling that rock around, and that defense, opportunistic as they are, I think they'll give Sam Darnold a little headache. So I'm taking the Panthers at home.
I like it. All right, Captain Jack, who you got? Seahawks and Panthers.
Well, first off, there ain't nobody going to make that cat purr better than me.
Okay.
All
What?
right.
Your cat? What?
And
Right.
by the way, it's 1-800-555. Okay, I'm just saying that. Okay.
$3.99 a minute. We know. We got you covered.
No, I tell you, I got the Panthers. I like what they've been doing. Like I said, Canales has got that team purring, pun intended, in that way. And I thought it was actually fantastic that what's his nose, the coach of the Bucks, threw Baker and Mike Evans under the bus after they lost. I mean, he didn't hold no punches, and I'm missing all these great things because I'm already watching another game. But I heard about it, after the fact. I tell you, the fake Pirates are going down, down, down like I will on your sister. And the Panthers are be winning.
Okay, I did. I see Robert's face. Okay, you did go. Okay, cool. All right, Alex, who you got? Seahawks.
Yeah, I caught it. I got Seahawks, but I think Panthers cover. I think this is probably one of the. I mean, obviously, we think it's a game of the week, but I think this might be the most entertaining game to watch this week. And I think it's going to be a close, hard-fought game, but I like the Seahawks.
Yeah, slight rain in this game. Temperature's gonna be cold, slight rain. That's pretty much up both teams' alley, honestly, because it does the same thing in Seattle that it does in Carolina. So
They were born in it,
yeah,
molded by it.
Yes, I didn't go to dark until I was already mad. Yes, indeed. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that line is killing me. The Panthers, it's a statement game for them. I think they can really, really put people on notice that they're here to stay if they can beat the Seahawks. Especially, it's kind of trappy to me because the Panthers on paper look lesser of a talented team than the Seahawks do. But going cross country, different time zone. That could play a factor. The weather and the rain. The Panthers could sneak this one out, man. I'm telling you, I've definitely taken them to not cover that spread, but they could win outright. If they do, they're going to take this division and go right into the playoffs.
If the Panthers win this game and the Bucks lose, Panthers clinch the division, right?
It's pretty much done.
Yes,
Yes, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. How about it? Okay.
That's correct.
Yes, indeed. Okay. All right, so we got another, a marquee matchup here. Eagles at Bills, and the Bills are favored by 2.5, and they're going up to Buffalo. I want to look at the weather of this one too. I want to know what that is. Let's see. We're talking definite snow.
Ooh,
And 37 degrees with 14-mile-an-hour winds.
beautiful football weather.
At a 4:00 start. So who wins this game? Eagles or Bills, RG?
I'm gonna go with the Eagles on this one, man. Funny enough, I know they're on the road. I know the Bills kind of, I don't want to say they have all the momentum right now, but they have a little bit of momentum going into the playoffs after beating the Patriots in that massive come from behind win. But I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where like the Eagles, they find against the best of the best, they just find ways to get wins. I mean, they have probably, if you want to put up their wins versus any other team this year, they probably have the most or one of the most impressive resumes just this year alone on the teams that they beat. They beat the Packers when they had Micah, beat the Chiefs when they were still, very early in the year when everybody thought they were still going to be a contender. Beat the did they beat the Seahawks? I think I'm trying to think, maybe think of another team, but they've had some really great wins against some very quality opponents. And that team, man, they just, for whatever reason, they obviously won the division, back to back for the first time since in like the last 20 years. They just find ways to win, and I feel like they're going to find another way to do it here. I'll take the points since I have them winning straight up, so I'll take the free 2.5.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Deb, what you got? Eagles or Bills?
I'm going Bills. I think we're going to see a lot of rushing, a lot of ground game, of course. which Cook has been going crazy, and of course that bows on the side of the Bills in that aspect. But Saquon, of course, you can't look past him at all either. But I think I think I'm going to take the Bills in a close one. I'm looking forward to the weather, and I think it should be a memorable one. Both teams need it.
I agree.
Both teams
I
need it.
definitely agree. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Violet, who you got? Eagles or Bills?
I'm taking Eagles in this one. Like you say, inclement weather, which they both are used to, but I'm going to give the Eagles the edge on run game by explosive, and I mean explosive run game. Passing game, they had a slow start with that new OC, but now they're kind of hitting their stride, and they're multidimensional when they want to be. So I'm going to give the edge to them versus the Bills, which puts McDermott on a hotter seat.
I like it. All right, Captain Jack, who you got? Eagles or Bills?
I got the boys from Niagara and the Wings.
All right.
Yeah. That the Bills?
Anchor Bar, the original Buffalo Wings. Anchor Bar, if you're ever up there.
Fair enough. Good stuff. All right, AG, who you got? Eagles or Bills?
I got Bills at home. Close weather game. I think they kind of make a little statement here.
Okay. Good stuff. Yeah. I just want to see a good game in all honesty, but if I had to pick, just to shake things up, I want the Eagles to win. I do. I want the Eagles to win. This is shake it up in the AFC. I just want to see it. All right, the final game we got on the docket, we got Bears going all the way over to San Fran to play the 49ers. The 49ers are favored by -3. All right, RG, who you got in this matchup, Bears or 49ers?
Taking the Niners in this one. East Coast team traveling all the way West Coast is always, a little bit brutal for them, just adjusting to that time change. But
Chicago is not on the East Coast, schmuck.
Compared to where the Niners are, there is pretty far out there. It's a far flight regardless. I will take the +3 on the Bears, however, because they just always find ways to stay in these insanely close games. And so 3 points is a lot, and worst case you probably push. But I think the good money here is Bears +3, but I still have the Niners winning it.
Okay, good stuff. All right, Dub, who you got, Bears or 49ers?
I'm gonna take the Bears. I'm gonna keep believing until they prove otherwise. So I'm gonna take the hot hand with the Chicago Bears, and I think they pull out another one.
I like it. Good stuff. All right, Violet, who you got, Bears or 49ers?
I'm taking Bears myself with their run game. Not to slight McCaffrey at all, but I know the tight end's a little banged up. He may or may not play with that ankle, but
probably not.
I'm taking the Bears for an upset. West Coast upset.
I like it. Okay. All right, Captain Jack, who you got, Bears or 49ers?
I will definitely take the Central Division Bears in Central Time Zone of Chicago in the middle of the United States, a little bit to the right of the middle of the United States, over a Bay Area team.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, AG, who you got, Bears or 49ers?
I got the Bears.
The Bears.
Bears.
Ditka versus Hurricane. I'm choosing Ditka, dude. All right. So we're going with the Bears.
You got Ditka or God.
Polish sausage, Bears. All right.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. I'm actually going 49ers on this one. That offense is humming. And they actually might get Ricky Pearsall back for this game as well. They're at home at -3. I think they can beat the Bears. I think the Bears are on borrowed time as far as these close games are concerned. So if they can't stop that 49er offense and Kyle Shanahan's unique play calling style in that run game, I think they're in for upsets. I think the Bears end up losing this game to the 49ers. I may not cover the 3, but I think 49ers should definitely win. So we'll see. But good stuff. All right. So as we wrap up the show, let's get to our final segment of the pod. The final segment of the pod, our hot takes of the week. And I like to add a little bit of spice to the hot take segment this week because it is December 23rd. It is the day of Festivus. So, there could be some
for the rest of us.
There could be some airing of grievances. So either you have a hot take or an airing of your grievance before the holiday, please share with the fandom. Let them know what problems you had with those people. and give us your hot takes and your grievances, and then we'll get up out of here and then let everybody get to their holiday.
But you got to have the poll. You got to have the poll. You got to have the Festivus poll.
You do have that.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
That's right.
Now you're going to hear about them.
That's right. That's right. What do you say? What do you say? Garland gives me nightmares or something like that. What do you say? Tinsel is tricky. Something crazy like that. Yeah, something crazy like that. But yes. So any hot takes, any grievances? Please share them now.
Yeah. My grievance is with the state of Missouri for losing not one.
There you go.
But recently, 2 NFL football teams now over their way that they handle negotiating and working with the team on funding and, just frankly kind of pissing them off to leaving, and, definitely Kroenke was more of a conniving businessman the way he did it, but they definitely kind of raked the Chiefs through the coals on negotiating and trying to work out a deal and then lumping the Royals in with it and just blowing it up and pissing them off to make them leave to Kansas. And I will just add, for those that don't know, Kansas City is big enough that it spews into Kansas, and where they're building it is essentially Kansas City, but it's just on the Kansas side. That might get a little confusing.
On the state lines? Yeah. Well, if you're on the state lines, state taxes are different, so that could factor in as well.
But that is my grievance, just personally in this holiday Festivus for the rest of us. My hot take is that the New York Jets are going to get an interception this week.
Ooh, what a take.
Finally. First of the
Since
season.
they have 0,
right. First of the season.
after hiring a defensive coach.
Right.
Wow, I did not know that.
Now, y'all going to like this one. I would say it now because it just came to me. The Giants and the Raiders game ends in a tie.
No.
You're like, don't you put
Can't have it.
Oh man, that might be.
Now it would be negotiated like the Chargers coming in to get the game and say, oh, we'll take the tie, and then they said, oh, you want to take the tie? Oh, no, it ain't happening. It's not going to be a redo of that game. Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be
I
that.
love it,
But
Coach.
on actually, and I was going to actually, this was part of it. I was going to say that with the Chiefs losing losing the stadium over to Kansas, it actually is going to be a disillusionment to some of that fan base, and there's going to be more people for the opposing teams coming in there. Arrowhead, or Narrowhead as I like to call it, it being outdoors, there was a definitive home field advantage that came with that. They're going to lose a little bit of that. It's not going to be as solid red as it was over in Arrowhead. And I'm just saying that there's going to be some disillusionment there, and there's going to be more fans that want to come into a stadium that's not so blistering freaking cold.
Oh yeah.
In December and January, they'll actually go there. I wasn't going to go to Kansas City in December. My last game was the Raiders playing the Oakland Raiders, going to Kansas City in December, and it was balls cold, but I was going to be there because it was the Oakland Raiders going to Kansas City. It was the last time it ever happened, but there's going to be more fans that are going to be going over there to a new stadium that's indoor.
It would be more enticing than the Dome because it's climate controlled. You got a point there.
It's going to lose some of the mystique, man, for sure. And then the way they're planning to build it like kind of Jerry did. So, all these extra bars and restaurants and stuff by it. So it's like that's part of what made Arrowhead cool too. If Cap, you've been there, like you see what the tailgating's like. It's very collegey, because of the way they built it with the Royal Stadium being right there. It's literally just a pavement ocean the people just drinking and grilling, and it's like they're going to take some of that away too. So a lot of people are pissed off, man.
Yeah, the tailgates are definitely going to suffer. Kansas City tailgates, fantastic. And again, props to Alex and the majority, I will say the majority of the Chiefs fans, the Midwest aspect of them. I have never had a bad time in a Midwest venue, including Kansas City, because the fans are wonderful. The fans are wonderful.
Barbecue is excellence. Hey,
No arguments there.
not at all. Not
Hey,
at all.
Alex, you guys are going real corporate now, just like we did. Corporate America. So that's that last year. That's going to be another end of an era in the NFL. So
That's a fact. That is a fact. Okay. All right.
big business, baby. Big business.
Yep.
Get your tickets 2030 because 2031 it's in Kansas.
There you go. There you go. Okay. All right. Any more hot takes on the dockets?
I think that's all I got.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Why didn't you say, the hot hand? I mean, that was a great comment, and it definitely wasn't highlighted. That's what she said. Riding the hot hand? Come on, man.
Cap, you're one of a kind. I tell you that.
It was right there. I didn't even say it. You could have at least put it up for like a modicum of time. Come on, man.
Indeed. Okay. All right, good stuff. All right, gentlemen. So that is that gonna wrap it for everybody? No more grievances, no more hot takes.
I mean, my grievance is with the damn refs, but I feel like that's every week and this damn NFLPA. You know what? I will say it. My grievance is with this damn NFLPA, dog. How the hell are you gonna suspend a guy for 2 games when there's only 2 games left in the regular season for his first personal foul penalty the entire season? What kind of where's the thought process behind that? This team is in the middle of the race for its own division. They control their own destiny to win the division. After the injuries have ravaged this team, you're going to take away one of the key pieces of this defense for a flag that he doesn't even get ejected for. Meanwhile, we got Eagles and Commanders brawling at the end of the game, but we don't see no punishment handed out for that. That's just part of the game, right? But you're gonna suspend a guy in a crucial part of the season. If this happens week 5, 6, all right, you got me. You're in the middle of the season. You want to teach him a lesson. I got no problem with that. But we're at the end.
DK Metcalf?
No. I'm talking about Denzel Perryman. Denzel Perryman.
Okay. Well,
yeah. Yeah, no, DK, and what, Jack? I'm very happy you brought that up. You're basically saying that a personal foul penalty is the same. You deserve the same punishment as reaching into the stand and trying to attempt to punch on a fan. Yeah. That's what the NFLPA is saying with these suspensions. So that is just absolutely criminal. NFLPA, you should be ashamed of yourself. Jordy Nelson, everybody that runs that, absolutely shameful suspension.
All right. Yeah, I share the same sentiments, and it's definitely one of those things where they over police things. They let a bunch of things go, let all those, brawls and fights and punches be thrown, no ejection, no penalty. Guy hadn't got a flag for a personal foul in 3 years. He did his first one, which was, to their argument about when they asked about it from the coaching staff, said he felt like the guy was going to get up because he hadn't been touched. So he was trying to tackle him to make sure he was going down, and he happened to hit him with a helmet. That was their explanation, not mine. It did because it was a helmet contact. It did warrant a flag, but it did not warrant an ejection nor a suspension, in my opinion. So
I also saw somewhere that I'm not sure if this is true or not because it didn't come from like a reliable source, but I did see somewhere that the NFLPA handed down this suspension to him for his previous transgressions, not this year, but just throughout treatment. Exactly. Okay. And that to me is that is criminal, dog. You cannot punish a guy for something that happened years ago. That is inexcusable.
Okay. Well, they pulled the Raider card. They said he was dirty when he played for the Raiders, and we got to get him for that.
Well, dirty with the Texans and the Raiders because they using all that as diary or building a case to suspend him now at a crucial moment to teach him a lesson. Yeah, all right, NFL. Okay, we're done with y'all today. All right. Anyway, but yes, so that's gonna do it for us, gentlemen. Actually, I don't need to. I almost forgot the outro. That permanent description got me tight. I'm off. My bad. But yes, if you're looking for the hit squad at any facet, any place, any time on social media, Mike Dub, our Commanders Insider, Alex, our Chiefs Insider, and Robert Garcia, our Chargers Insider. Hit them up on Twitter and Instagram if they have it. Please reach out to them if you have any questions about their team. If you're looking for the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, Violator, or Captain Jack, they are all on Twitter. Captain Jack is also on Instagram and YouTube. Hit them up. Any radios or referee questions that you may have, hit those guys up in their space.
Not only fans yet, but I'll work on it. I'll work.
Right. Patreon exclusive. We got you covered. If you're looking for the Lockdown Davis Sports Network in any fast and any space, if you had any questions about the network or NFL related questions, please hit us up. We're on most of all popular social media platforms. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Let the YouTube algorithm know we're doing big things out here. We can be reached at on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter. Facebook as well. It's not listed on here. We do have a Facebook channel as well, so that is available to you. Hit us up on any of those platforms if you have any questions about the network or NFL alike. So we'll get that out to you. If you're looking for our subsidiary channels, you're looking for the Electric Shock Podcast and the Space Chargers Only podcast channel that we sponsor here on the network, hit that up. Drop us a subscription on that as well. Electric Shock Pod on all platforms. Hit us up if you have any Chargers related news. Myself and Young RG do content on that space regularly. So hit us up if you have any Chargers related questions. We do all Chargers content there. Electric Shock Pod.
And God forbid that you have a playoff game upcoming. Go ahead and flip that slide, Coach. I know
championship games, man. It's important.
Okay. If you got playoff stuff upcoming, because God forbid your entire lifetime depends upon how your running back is going to be doing in some sort of what's it called? Like, oh yes, a fantasy football league. Because you have to figure out that your team isn't in the playoffs, but you have to play fantasy football like you're a geek, like Mike McDaniel. But anyway. Make sure you hit up the lightning fast fantasy football on all the channels with the gentlemen that do it. You can't do it much better, even though it makes me gag. There you go.
Yes. So that for that somewhat glowing endorsement from Captain Jack Rackham. Yes.
Thank you, Cap, for that wonderful intro.
Yeah, indeed.
Those night classes are really paying off.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my high school equivalency pretty soon to be a lawyer next week.
There you go. Hey, he's not the best color man in commentary in the business for nothing, folks. But yes, if you're looking for the Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast channel, if you're looking for fantasy football advice to get you to that championship victory, it is championship week for most people, so we will be dropping content today and Friday to get you ready for the playoff championship game if you are in it. So hit us up on any social media platforms. We do have a YouTube channel, Lightning Fast FF on all platforms, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, as well as our YouTube channel. So hit us up on that space. Myself and not Young RG, but real AG, Alex Gibbons, will be dropping content there. Yes, the other G.
Get your D spots right.
Yes, indeed. So if you're looking for any fantasy football advice, please hit us up on that particular space at any point in time. So yes. But that is going to do it for us. We're out of here. We're going to wish everybody that's in the stratosphere of the Lockdown Davis Sports Network a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. We are 2 days away from the Christmas, holiday and Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and everything that you celebrate through the holiday season. Please have a safe and happy trip in that particular space. But gentlemen, anything to add before we get out of here?
I just want to say that for all those of the Jewish faith, I got my menorah today. I know it's kind of late in the game, but I haven't had a menorah in your years, and I was going in to get some Christmas stuff as well, and it's one of those light up menorahs, so I don't even have to waste candles. So get your menorah, celebrate Christmas, celebrate Hanukkah, celebrate Festivus, and Kwanzaa as well. God forbid I forget Kwanzaa. We're gonna get people think Captain Jack doesn't like Kwanzaa. No, that's not true. Celebrate the holidays as you see fit, because it's the time for giving and family and togetherness this time of year.
Indeed. All right, good fellas. All right, so we'll be back next week as always to break down Week 17 in its entirety, as we'll be 1 week away from the playoffs. But in the meantime, between time, like I said, happy holidays, everybody. But I'm your boy, Coach Defense. That is Young RG, Robert Garcia. That is the man, the violated man himself. Coach Mike Dubs in the building. Captain Jack Rackham and the real AG, Alex Givens. Until next week, we'll see you when we see you. Step up and log it down.